Hey guys, so I want to talk about something that is happening on your account and you might not even know it. So if you sell on Amazon.com, at the moment you are collecting sales tax in Washington state. In fact, Amazon is collecting it on your behalf, but on your account in Seller Central, you will see every person who's buying from you who's from Washington state, you will see a tax charge being charged to them. So you are in fact collecting it, and then Amazon is reimbursing you in the same transaction. So there are some things that you need to know about how it looks like, what it does to your revenue, and do you even need to worry about it or submit any income tax reports in Washington and so on. So let me tell you about all of these things step by step.
Okay, so first let's look at the specific order example. So for example, I sold 1 unit of this item, right? And when I look at the breakdown, I see that the price was $29.99, and actually that's all it is, $29.99. And I don't collect any tax normally in United States because I'm from Canada, and I don't charge shipping because Amazon is doing the shipping for me, FBA warehouse. So all I would expect to see is the price, but what I see in breakdown is these items. So there was some kind of tax that I apparently charged my customer on top of the price, and then there was a chargeback called Facilitator Tax Chargeback. So this tax that I charged the customer was given back to me by Amazon. And then there was a shipping charge that I apparently charged the customer, but actually it was the Amazon who charged the shipping, so they gave me back the shipping cost as well. They also charged the shipping tax to the customer, which they also gave me back. So you see, you can see all the math here in the breakdown, but in fact, you had $21.99 and you still have $21.99 that you charged your customer, right? So in the end, after everything, you make that much profit. So let me show you how you would see all this working out within the Seller Central. So when you go to Seller Central and you look at the transaction details for this particular order, what you would see is a section which contains all those marketplaces, Marketplace Facilitator Tax and Shipping and Principal and so on. So exactly same things that I've just showed you within AMZ Ping appear within Seller Central. So you may be new to this and you might not know why this is even happening. So let's start from the very beginning. Do you even have to worry about the sales tax in the United States? Well, the answer most likely is yes. Even if you are not from Washington state, maybe you are from another state in the United States, maybe you are from UK or France or Canada and so on, you still have to collect the sales tax in United States, even though you may not be registered company in United States or not have a nexus. Well, there is something, a certain expression called nexus, which means sufficient physical presence. That is how each state decides whether they should charge you the sales tax, whether you should collect the sales tax or you shouldn't. Right? So now you have to decide if you have a nexus or you don't, and you have to there's a little bit of gray area involved, like you have to take your own risks and make your own decisions. But I will tell you 3 factors here which are important when deciding whether you should collect or you can skip and not collect for a little while. Well, all my advice, take it with a grain of salt because I'm not a tax consultant. This is just something that I know from researching and reading a lot about this topic. So the factors that help you decide whether to collect sales tax in a specific state is this. First of all, do you have an office? Do you have physical presence like your house, any warehouse, or a car, or any kind of registration, driver's license, I don't know, something related to that state? If you have any ties at all with that state, yes, then you have to collect sales tax. Another thing that people look at is at the actual tax amounts that they would have to submit if, let's say, at the end of the year, you would look at all of your sales in Arizona for your Amazon sales. And if you see that you only had 12 sales in Arizona that year, that means your total sales tax would be, 5% of your sales. So it's like $20. But actual submission of taxes and filing them and paying tax jar or Avalara for the service, that would cost you like $300-400. And then the registration in that state, that is way more than the actual tax that would you collect. That is called not material, and in that case most likely you would not register in that state. So if the tax is so small that 7 years later, if the audit comes and they tell you, hey, come and pay tax now for all the 7 years that you didn't, and your company doesn't go broke because of this number, then many sellers at the moment are just leaving it be, right? Because they're waiting for the better days that I will just talk about in a few slides. Another very important thing to consider is, do you have any inventory in that state? And that's where the most confusing part comes in, because Amazon FBA has many warehouses, and when you send them your stock of 100 units, they keep a little bit in one state, a little bit in another state, and a little bit in another state. So if they keep any at all in Arizona, you would automatically have a nexus there, because your units are stored in Amazon warehouse in Arizona, and that makes you have to pay the sales tax, unfortunately. So the blue states are the ones that at the moment of recording have FBA warehouses in them, but a few of them are only announced recently, and I am sure in 1.5 years from now all of them will be blue. So Amazon will come to all the states for sure, because look at the map, they're already everywhere almost. So it doesn't, like I said here, if you have any stored inventory in the state, you would have to worry about paying sales tax. So today you only have to worry about these blue ones, right? But very soon you will have to worry about the rest as well. Now let's talk about a few special cases now where this marketplace facilitator tax comes in. Certain states, for example this one, which is Washington and Pennsylvania, at the moment have enabled something called Marketplace Facilitator Tax, where they, instead of going after all these thousands of little guys like you and me, they go after the big guy, who is the Amazon, the marketplace facilitator. That means they have their own marketplace, which is Amazon.com. They facilitate it, they host it, and they invite other sellers to sell on it. And that's why they deem them responsible to collect the sales tax from all the sales that happen in Washington. So that is exactly what Amazon is doing. They are collecting the sales tax for you in Washington and Pennsylvania. And if you look at the Seller Central tax settings, you will see that whatever settings you had before, it's been overridden in Washington and Pennsylvania right now to say that it's automatically collected wherever you are. Even if you're not registered, you're out of country, it doesn't matter. They are collecting sales tax for all the sales in Washington and Pennsylvania. And trust me, this is just the beginning. There's also on the line the Rhode Island and Minnesota, very soon going to be added to the list. And there's going to be, I am expecting eventually that all the states will do that. At the moment, situation is a little bit more complicated than that, because some states like Washington is saying, okay, Amazon, from now on you collect sales tax. But some states, unfortunately, some a little bit more picky ones, are suing Amazon for all historic tax that they didn't collect, and they have to now to pay them this big amount of money, for the taxes that they apparently didn't collect. So even though you didn't collect that tax, now Amazon is on the hook, and they're being sued instead of you. So just feel yourself very lucky that there is something, that marketplace facilitator tax is coming hopefully to every state, and then hopefully you don't have to do it. Now, there is one case when you still have to collect sales tax in Washington yourself, is if you sell not on Amazon. If you sell in eBay or Shopify or I don't know, Etsy or something like that, whoever doesn't have a contract yet, but these are also in the works. They are talking now with Etsy and Walmart to also collect sales tax automatically for sellers. So you may not need to, if you wait out the moment, you may not need to register yourself. There are some special things that even this tax laws are still not worked out. For example, even though Amazon is collecting the sales tax for you, but still Washington state says that you still need to file a tax report even though somebody else is collecting the tax for you. So, you know, hopefully they will waive this later on. So if you are like me, just waiting out the ride, and just because I am out of country, I'm from Canada, so for me this is a little bit, for them it's much harder to control the situation like this. So I'm just waiting it out and seeing where it's gonna go. If you want to keep up to date which states are already registered as automatic tax collection, you can go to help files on Seller Central and look up Marketplace Tax Collection FAQ, and there will be a list of which states they are collecting at the moment. So if you're watching this video, go and check at the moment to your help section of Seller Central, just because the video was recorded in the past and you need to have a most up-to-date information. So like I said, let's hope that all of these states will have this automatic thing so we don't have to worry about it. Let's hope for that. And now I just wanted to mention that AMZ Ping, whichever state is gonna join, we include that automatically in our breakdown, right? So the tax, for example, I am from Canada, right? And I am collecting HST tax in Canada. So in this number, there are some sales from Canada and some from United States and some from UK. So some tax that I collected myself, we are including. Then there is this, and also the facilitator tax is included in this number. Then there's a certain amount of chargeback. So Amazon gives back what they collect. And in the end, the math works out exactly what you have to pay, what you collected, what you remitted, and things like that. So if you would join AMZ Ping right now, then we have a free trial for 14 days. There's no credit card required. If you would sign up, you will be able to see if you have any facilitator tax being applied on your account at all. Are you having any tax? Like, how does your breakdown look like? What is your profit, and so on. So feel free to sign up and check it out. And that's it for this video. Take care.